Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're all here. Today we're going to take a look at some different knives that are OEM'd by Reate and kind of talk about those. I apologize, that was Tippy who just knocked over Joe Isabella's little tag there. But before we get started and jump into some of these knives, I wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to all the channel members. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all more than you know. And I want to thank any of y'all who made it into the channel to check out the knife and EDC content. I definitely appreciate you taking the time. If you're so inclined, I would really appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. It really helps me out. So starting out, this is the first Reate made knife that I picked up in my collection back, gosh, 3 years ago. I can remember getting it from Knife Center. I can remember it being one of my first, what I would consider at the time, Grail purchases. And this is the Golf Designs Arcform Slimfoot. The Arcform Slimfoot is a perfectly balanced, perfectly centered, medium-sized to large-sized knife. I'd call it a full-size knife with a flipper deployment and this nice sheep's footy blade that's super slicey, M390. It is titanium and micarta construction. Has a really nice back spacer, frame lock that just is dialed in flawlessly. It was my first experience, like I said, with Reate, so I kind of came to understand what the fuss about the quality was. The blade is done extremely well. The appointments to the titanium, these handles are not weight relieved, but they don't need to be because it's not a ton of titanium. It's just a full-sized, wonderful knife. When I say full-sized, compared to our Spyderco Paramilitary 2, it's going to be right in that same size range, right? So the Slimfoot Arcform is a killer designed by Reate. Not one that I really wanted to focus on today. There were a couple I wanted to show off that might not be in the top 5, so to speak. And the 5 is really 6 because one of them is 2 versions. But this is the Brian Brown Raptor. The Raptor is, at the very, very least, an honorable mention. It's a fantastic hollow ground, drop point, aggressive looking, wonderfully constructed, hyper slicey folding knife. It's small. It's got a very thin handle. It's a light package. This particular variation is the Smoky Mountain Knife Works variation, which is black titanium with a complete fat carbon fiber show side. So the weight on this guy is cut down considerably because you don't have that titanium on the show side with insets. You just got the carbon fiber. So it weighs in very, very lightly, fits the hand very well. This one's going to be more in the medium category. I think if we compare this to our Bug Out, we'll see it's just a little bit bigger than the Bug Out, but it'd be a good bit shorter than our Spyderco Paramilitary 2. But just another Reate OEM'd honorable mention. I wanted to point it out. This is the Brian Brown Raptor, a fantastic drop point knife, great clip, great appointments, just a winner. So as we move on, we come to the Renegade Provisions God of Mischief, God of Mischief, the GOM. And this is a Reate made amazing knife. Mine's the black micarta. You could get this in many different appointments. I went for the blackout version with the black bolsters, black blade, black micarta. You've got this wonderful Warncliffey sheep's footy blade that is just an absolute laser beam. You've got some of the best action on any knife I've felt. It's among, it's right there in the top 5 of all the actions that I have. You know me, I'm not a huge front flipper guy. This particular knife, the front flipper tab jumps up and over, so it's perfectly jimped. The front flipper, you can't fail it. It actuates from the front of the knife to the top of the front flipper. I can't quite do a reach around very well because my hand's not that long. I mean, I can do it, but it's not a comfortable way to open the knife by any means. But the trick to me, or the beauty to me, is the detent and the middle finger flick. The blade hole is so sharp, which means, yes, it catches a little fingernail dust there, but it allows for a very positive flipping experience. You're not going to slip out of that hole. You're going to be able to pop that detent, and it just snaps to life. The ergos on this knife are absolutely next level. Contoured scales. You've got this wonderful finger choil. You've got this slim, svelte, very workable sized handle. This is going to be more in that medium size. I think if we break out our bug out, it's going to be closer in size to the bug out, which it is, just a little bit longer than it would be our PM2. But the Renegade Provisions God of Mischief, or GOM, is an absolute badass. I love this knife, love this knife, love this knife. It is perfect in every way for me. And yeah, just a huge Reate made winner. So then we come to the second Reate I got from Berg Blades. The first was the full-size Sweeney. I loved the Sweeney. I would still have the Sweeney. I had it in the blue micarta and the stonewashed blade and the tumbled bolsters. It was a little bit large for me. It was about the same size as the PM2, if not just a little bit bigger. I wasn't carrying it all that much, and it just turned out that I had a buddy who was looking to trade a knife I really wanted, the ProTech, which one am I thinking about? The SNG, the ProTech Strider SNG. I really liked that knife. He really liked the Sweeney, so we were able to work out a trade, and I let the Sweeney go knowing that this mini Sweeney was getting ready to drop. I wasn't exactly sure how many it was going to be. It is a very small knife, but that does not make it any less awesome. It is super, super slicey. The action on it is next level. The front flipper is designed perfectly if you're into front flipping, which, as you guys know, I'm really not. I'm more of a middle finger flick guy, which works great too. But if you look at this knife, it is going to come in on the smaller side. So if we look at it next to our bug out, it's going to be considerably smaller. If we look at it next to our mini bug out, it's going to be right within that same size frame as the mini. Maybe just a little bit bigger than the mini bug out. But the Berg Blade Sweeney, to me, shows some flex on Reate size. These black, and I'm sorry, but I've got mine a little dusty or a little dirty. These black bolsters are beautiful. The fat carbon fiber is gorgeous. I love the black on black. That used to not be my jam. I've really kind of fallen for it. I did put skiffs on this. It drops perfectly to your thumb and then shakes home, or will just drop home if you're vertical. The Berg Blades, Mini Sweeney, a Reate Flex. I love it. I think they killed it. Fantastic knife. Moving on, we come to the Null Voodoo. My Voodoo was much more subdued when I first got it. It had, if I'm not mistaken, the carbon fiber black scales. I've still got those somewhere. But I had a chance to pick up on Null's site these Voodoo, or what do you call them? What's this shit called? Toxic carbon fiber, or toxic storm, whatever, scales. I thought they were pretty cool, so I did pick them up. Glad I did. Don't know if they'll stay on there forever. When I find my other ones, I might put them on just to change them out. That's why I like having different scales. But guys, This Voodoo is a hollow ground, amazingly designed, wonderfully executed project between Null Knives and Reate that is on the next level. This is riding on skiffs too. It has got a thumb stud perfectly centered. You've got thumb studs that work both reverse and traditional. You've got a fuller that allows you to flick it from anywhere. You've got just beautifully done construction. Nice concealed bolster lock, black hardware, satin blade, super pokey tip, the splinter digger. And this guy is going to be more a full-size knife, so I think if we break out our pair 2, we're going to see it's right in that size range, right? So the Null Voodoo is another just beautiful flex by Reate. I think they kill this knife. It's an M390. I love it. Think it's just a banger. And yeah, one of the tops. So moving on, we come to the second Brian Brown knife, and probably my second favorite in this grouping, and it is the Brian Brown Jagger. This is the EDC Specialties version of the Jagger. It came with different hardware, but did come with the black blade and this micarta. I added the black hardware and the Zerk pivot collar, the Zerk backspacer, and the Zerk clip just to kind of make it unique. This is on skiffs. It is one of my top 5 knives of all time. I've loved this knife since I got it. It's every bit as exciting to me now as back when I got it. It hasn't had that law of diminishing returns to where I don't like it as much as time goes by. It's a forever knife as far as I'm concerned. Love it, love it, love it. This is the Jagger M, not the version 3. So this is the full frame lock version. Just a great, great knife. I did get the flipperless version, so a lot of the Jagers have the flipper too, which works great. I had just an opportunity to grab this one, so I did when it was new. And this is the Brian Brown Jagger M in M390, titanium, some Zerk appointments, some micarta, beautifully done, beautifully executed, very well designed. And that's going to bring us to our number 1 Reate made knife in my collection, which is really 2, because these are both Liong field duties. Now, one of them, we'll start with it first, was my OG field duty EDC. This knife is a frame lock G10 monoblock construction where you've got this one piece of G10 that pairs up with this titanium clip side. This is an LMAX. Perfect finger choil, one of the sliciest knives in the collection. Super tall flat ground blade. That's me just trying to shave too much and not cut it straight because I'm trying to save the paper through all these knives. So I assure you it is mega slicey. I don't know why I'm hitting it wrong like that. But anyway, the Liong Field Duty EDC, it's on skiffs. It's got one of the top 2 detents, if not the number 1 detent in my collection. It's always been my number 1 up until just recently here when I picked up a couple of just bangers like the Koenig Arius Mini and the SPK Lamia. But again, in the top 5 without doubt. This is the Field Duty EDC, which is going to be closer to our bug out size. That's why they call it the EDC. And there was also a Field Duty 4.0, or what Liong remade was the Field Duty Folder, which is a liner lock of the original Field Duty, really pimped out. You've got this nice, almost orange peeled titanium bolster. You have this fat carbon that is just to die for. Gorgeous back spacer. Gorgeous liner lock. S90V. Drop shut action. This also added a top flipper, which I don't really use because the detent's been stiffened up, so the top flipper's kind of some work for me. This knife is an absolute winner. So if you look at the field duty folder next to the field duty, you'll see similarities and you'll see some differences. The main differences are going to come from the way that that blade's dealt with, right? Got some smuts on my knife there. But the field duty EDC going to be more bug out size, where our field duty folder is going to be closer to our PM2 size, right? Full size knife and more of an EDC size knife. The field duty EDC is in LMAX, a great steel. The field duty folder is in S90V, one of my favorite steels. I've still got some paper left. This guy is an absolute slicing beast. Liong Ma has a background not only in designing awesome knives, but in being a chef. He knows about cutting and cutting geometry. I think every one of his knives, from my Cuff 3.0 to my Trinity, which was from Eutectic, from my EFD from Trinity, all of his knives have the best cutting geometry. They work amazingly well. They are OEM by Reate, and I think they are some of the best knives in the game. I'm a huge fan. If you heard that, that was thunder. But yeah, guys, Reate knives. I've been a fan since my first Reate, which was the Arcform here. Had several since then. See if I've got another one under Tippy here. Yeah. And we got the GOM. Guys, that's my top Reate collection. I know it's a little more than 5, but we count this as 1. And remember, these were honorable mentions. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for taking the time to watch the content. I hope you found it informative, educational, entertaining, and I hope you come back. That's what I ask. Please come back, check out the content, and please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Be up. Thanks, Joe Isabella. Always choose debate, not hate. I love y'all. Peace.